Hello everyone, Kamal here. Today I'll be talking about some of the ways you can AI-proof your art career. I'll also be showing you guys how I use AI generators to create reference images for canvas paintings. So let's jump right in. The 2D digital art space is quickly becoming saturated with a barrage of AI-generated art, just flooding the internet. Everyone is currently remixing their portraits with the Lensa app. You also have a few websites popping up selling prints of AI-generated art. A lot of artists in recent times has come out against AI art. But what if AI art is here to stay? How do you poke your head above the crowd and stand out as an artist? This is where you have to become multidisciplinary. That is it, guys. This is how you AI-proof your art career. Currently, AI art is limited to creating 2D digital imagery. So you can either step back a little bit away from all the noise, take up your trusty old paintbrush, and take things back to basics. Traditional paintings hasn't lost its value, and one could argue that traditional work will even be more valuable in the future, as digital art is now automated and has become a mass-produced item. You could also take things a step further into the realm of 3D and animated art, but that's for another video. For today, I'll be showing you guys how to use these, the one thing AI hasn't replaced so far. And here I am inside Midjourney's Discord server where I'm able to message my prompts to the Midjourney's bot directly. I then receive back an image in the form of a message. I'll be using its latest double exposure style to create some really beautiful concept pieces. So here I have typed in my prompt and press send. Starts generating and already these results are looking like something I would want to paint. But just for safe measure, I'll do some variations just to see what comes out. I like most of these so far, but I'm going to choose just one, maybe two. Something a bit more whimsical and expressive rather than detailed. And this is the one I've decided to go with. So, let's start painting. So with this, I'm not really focused on the details, but more or less to capture the essence of the reference, an impression of it. I start off by visualizing how the composition will fit on the canvas. I loosely sketch out the composition with just some water on the paintbrush, just so I can have an idea of the proportions and how much space the work will take up on the canvas. I'm basically adding some key points with lighter colors to tie down the composition. I then proceed to block out the composition with a light yellow color. I'm using the light colors first because they're more forgiving. I'm able to refine the form and add details by using darker tones as I go along, making corrections to the lighter tones beneath. It's about being loose with your brushwork. It's about building that confidence that what you're doing is the right thing. That confidence will reflect in your work. When you overwork the canvas too much, the color starts looking a bit muddy and you lose some of that really awesome brushstroke texture. But like all things, it takes practice, and you will get better over time in making less brushstrokes to get the results that you want. At some point, I start adding in the dark shadows to solidify the exact form, so you can start to see the three-dimensionality of the figure. With painting, you're not thinking about drawing outlines to get your shape. You're thinking about carving light with dark tones and light tones, shadows and highlights. Sometimes you have to step back a little bit from your work to see how it's coming along. Sometimes it's good to even step away out of the room, then come back with fresh eyes. Artists tend to overwork their pieces sometimes. The work is finished before we realize, and sometimes it's good to just call it and say, I'm done, this is it. It's better to have an unfinished piece than an overworked piece. While I'm working on this, let's address the second elephant in the room. The AI algorithms that drive these software are built with the metadata of billions of images, which includes many artists' work that developers seem to just snatch off the internet. A lot of artists and enthusiasts in the art community view AI art generation as perpetuating art theft, which directly infringes on the rights of artists. A lot of artists believe that as an artist or designer, you should take a stand and not use AI generated art at all. So the question becomes, is the individual doing something unethical when they use AI art generators and pass off their work as art? And I say maybe. I think AI generators in its current state, the developers might be taking part in unethical and perhaps illegal practices in how they source the data and how the algorithms uses this data. We do not know fully or do not understand how these software really work. This is something that needs to be brought to the courts maybe, where experts on copyright and intellectual property can scrutinize how exactly the data is being used to see if there are any breaches. With this, more laws and more guidelines could be laid out which would decide how we all go forward. However, I don't think AI art generators in itself is a bad thing. It's scary, yes. I was scared too, but rather than just sit there being scared, I decided to experiment with it to see, what it was all about. And yes, I feel a bit conflicted and intimidated as an artist. There I was planning to start a YouTube channel, do some digital art and put myself out there. And then came along this AI art craze of the late 2022, and that just shattered my world. And especially for the young digital artists out there who are just trying to put themselves out there, there's so much uncertainty for them, and it's this uncertainty that's getting a lot of people scared. What will the future hold for them? They haven't even built a name for themselves as yet. Can doing digital art be a lucrative career? Should I just give up and find a job working in an office somewhere organizing and stacking papers? These videos that I'm making becomes even more important to the younger people just starting out, where I'm talking about how to AI proof your art career. In case AI art is here to stay, how do we get over this uncertainty and the fear that it brings, and how do we move forward and overcome as artists? We have to evolve alongside AI in this new age that we're in, the age of AI. But to reassure everyone, no AI can replace the creativity in our minds and the knowledge of art and design principles, which can be used to move beyond 2D digital art. And also, why not just use AI art to help fuel these other disciplines? So here we are. This is where I'm at so far, and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I feel like I would want to add more detail, like some little tree branches, some silhouettes that implies a background. Give it something to be grounded in. You know what? This is it. I'm done. This is looking great. And that's it, guys. It's been a great session. Glad to have you guys here, the people who stayed to the end. This is to show you guys a peek into my world and some of my creative processes. Let me know if you guys enjoy videos of this format and give me some feedback so I can know if I should make more like this. And if you guys like my content, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, take care.